Now we are discussing about working of batch normalization with mini batches. Whenever we are having 5 lakhs training samples, we are dividing those 5 lakhs training samples into 5,000 batches, and each batch is consisting 1,000 training samples. So this is the first batch, which is consisting 1,000 training samples, and this is second batch, and this is third mini batch. These are mini batches we can call. This is first mini batch, second mini batch, and third mini batch. When we are giving the first mini batch to our neural network, so X superscript 1 is a matrix which is consisting of 1,000 training samples. So the X superscript 1, this matrix, X superscript 1 matrix size is, because it is having 1,000 training samples, we will have 1,000 columns and so on, 1,000. But how many number of rows are there? The number of rows depends upon the number of features. So this time the matrix size of X is n by 1,000. We are giving this matrix, and we already know that W, the parameter matrix, depends upon the number of activation units in the first layer. Then I assume that number of activation units in the first layer are R, and the number of activation units in the previous layer means the previous layer is zeroth layer. Zeroth layer is input layer. In input layer, how many activation units we have? Really, we have input units. So how many input units we have? The number of features, that is R by N. Now Z superscript 1 is equal to W superscript 1 into X superscript 1 plus B. Here W superscript 1 is nothing but R by N, and X superscript 1 is nothing but N by 1,000. Now when we multiply R by N with N by 1,000, the resultant matrix is R by 1,000 resultant matrix. So Z superscript 1 matrix size is R by 1,000. Now we are taking this Z superscript 1 matrix, which is having the R by 1,000 matrix size, and we are doing the normalization to this Z superscript 1. Now the normalized value of Z superscript 1 is equal to gamma, capital gamma into original Z superscript 1 plus beta. Now this Z superscript 1 matrix size is R by 1,000, and gamma matrix size is also here. Remember, whenever we are taking the gamma matrix, whenever you are taking, the matrix size of the gamma is same R by 1,000. Here we are doing the element wise multiplication. We are performing, and then this is beta. This beta matrix is also R by 1,000 only. So finally we are getting R by 1,000 normalized Z matrix. We use this R by 1,000 normalized Z matrix to find the activation function's output. We are taking the activation function G. This may be sigmoid or tan H or rectified linear unit, whatever may be the activation function. And now we are giving the normalized Z values, which is the R by 1,000 matrix, and the output is A superscript 1. Now the A superscript 1 matrix is nothing but R by 1,000. So we are having 1,000 number of columns, and in each column we are having R rows. Here the R rows are telling to us there are R activation units are there in the first layer, and the 1,000 columns are telling that these are the outputs for the 1,000 training samples. Similarly, this will go on until the end of the last layer, until the ending layer. Now, when we take the second mini batch, that is 1,000 to 2,000 training samples, we will send these 1,000 training samples. Again, we are taking the same Z1, and we are considering the same beta 1, and we are considering the same gamma 1. By using these parameters, again, we are performing the same task. And for the third batch, similarly, we will perform this task up to 5,000 mini batches. So now we have to properly take the parameters W and B, and also we have to choose the additional two parameters beta and gamma. These W and B are the parameters that are controlling the activation units, and these beta and gamma are controlling the normalization of the Z1. Now see here, because we are using the normalization, even though we take this term B, when we are normalizing, what we are performing, we are subtracting Z with the mean. When we are subtracting Z minus mu, this BL will be eliminated in any way, because whenever we are taking this plus B, what is the mean means? Uh, if we are having R number of activation units in the first activation layer, if we are having R number of activation units, now what is the mean means? What is the mean of Z? Z mu is nothing but, we are taking the summation of all training samples. We are taking the summation of all training samples, 1,000 training samples. Example, if you are taking the summation of 1,000 training samples for the first unit, so that is Z mu1 I am calling. So after I am calling that as a mu1. Whenever I am getting that Z summation of all, example, if you are taking, there are some 3 activation units in the first layer. In these 3 activation units, the first activation unit's Z value is Z1. Second activation unit Z value is Z2. Third activation unit Z value is Z3. Okay. Now, when I give the first training sample, the value of Z1 is Z1 superscript 1. When I give the second training sample, the value of Z1 is Z1 superscript 2. Similarly, when I am giving 10 training samples, the values I will get from Z subscript 1 1 to Z subscript 1 10. Now when I am asking what is the average of these training samples Z's, here I am calculating the average. Now you can observe the average, which is nothing but mu. Average mu is equal to, first I am taking the Z1 superscript 1 plus Z1 superscript 2 and so on, Z1 superscript 10. Now when I am performing the average, this is what we are calling as mean. In order to make you understand, I have only considered 10 training samples, but whatever may be the our mini batch size, if our mini batch size is 1,000, then the 1,000 Z values of the first activation unit in the first layer, the 1,000 Z values will be added, and we are dividing that with the 1,000 to give the mean. Now we are subtracting this Z1 from this mean. This is the mean. Now we got the mean. Again, we are taking the same 3 activation units of the first layer, and this is, we are calling Z subscript 1, this is Z subscript 2, and this is Z subscript 3. Now in order to get the normalized value of Z1, we are taking Z1 minus mu. Remember, if I ask what is the matrix size of this Z1, then the matrix size of this Z1 is nothing but 1 by M, because M training samples, you are getting M outputs. So this is a 1 by M matrix. Now, what is this mu? We are adding all M training samples Z1s, and we are dividing the M training samples Z1 with the M. Finally, we are getting the mu. Okay. So Z1 minus mu means every value in the Z1 we are subtracting with the mu, and then we are dividing with the variance sigma. Variance sigma means we are dividing with the standard deviation sigma. So in order to make that sigma, even if it is approaching 0, the Z will become infinite. To avoid that, we are writing root over sigma square plus epsilon, a small value of epsilon we are adding. So now remember, what is this sigma square? This sigma square is nothing but variance. What is this variance? Again, we are taking the Z1 for the first training sample, and we are doing the square, and we are taking the Z2 for the second training sample, Z1 for the first training sample, Z1 superscript 1, second training sample, Z1 superscript 2. So we are doing the square for it, and we are performing the square for Z1 superscript M. We are performing the square. So this is what we are calling as variance. This is sigma square. Standard deviation means we are taking the square root of it. This will give the standard deviation. Now what is the normalized value of the Z1? The normalized value of Z1 is nothing but we are subtracting Z1 from the, we are subtracting Z1 with mu and dividing with sigma square plus epsilon. This is the normalized value of the Z1. But in reality, we not only want the normalized value of Z1, we also want the normalized value of Z1, Z2, and Z3 also. I am calling this as Z superscript 1. Z superscript 1 is nothing but first layer Z values. First layer Z values, the all matrices will come here. So Z1 is 1 by M matrix for the M training samples. Z2 is 1 by M matrix for the M training sample. Z3 is 1 by M matrix for the M training samples. Now, when we are taking the Z superscript 1, this Z superscript 1 is giving a 3 by M matrix. This 3 by M matrix is giving 3 rows and M columns, and in each column we are having the 3 activation units Z values for that particular training sample, and this last column is giving the mth training sample Z values for the first layer activation units. This is how we are getting the normalized value of the Z by using the beta and gamma. Now, where is this beta and gamma? Instead of taking that mu and instead of taking that variance, we are normalizing this Z with beta and gamma. So when we are normalizing this Z with beta and gamma, so I am multiplying the Z with the gamma and I am adding it with beta. Now, when we are taking the beta as the mean and gamma as root over sigma square plus epsilon, whatever the previous concept we have discussed, we are getting the same normalized Z value. So after the Z value is normalized, we are giving to the activation function to get the output of the activation units. Now, in this process, when we are subtracting with the mean, even though we add the BL, that BL will be eliminated. So we are telling it there is no necessity to take the BL. So we are neglecting the BL, and now only we are left with 3 parameters. One is W and beta and gamma. Already we know ZL is equal to WL and AL minus 1, W into A, where W is the parameter matrix and A is the activation units of the previous layer, plus B. Because we neglected the B, now we are not writing the B, and we are taking the Z normalized value is equal to gamma into Z original value plus beta. As we already discussed, if beta is n by 1 matrix, we are taking only for the one training sample. If for M training samples, it is n by M matrix. And gamma is n by 1 matrix for one training sample, then Z will be obviously n by 1 matrix only. Whatever is the size of this gamma and beta, the normalized Z value is having the same size, because the gamma and beta are depending upon the number of activation units only. The gamma and beta sizes are depending on. Now, when we are applying this in the program, for t is equal to 1 to number of mini batches, we are taking 5000 mini batches, and now we are taking 3 steps. W is equal to W minus alpha dW, beta is equal to beta minus alpha dB, gamma is equal to gamma minus alpha d gamma. This is what we apply in the gradient descent.